Hi, everybody. This is so exciting. I feel like I should have theme music or something like that. Hi, everyone. Hillary Russo here. I'm going to wait a couple seconds for some of you to join me. This is my first Holistically Speaking, and I am just elated to be here and share with you and really start the journey with better health and happiness and harmony, which is basically why I'm here. So just to tell you a little bit about what I'm wanting to do here, I'm getting certified as a holistic health coach with the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and I'm already practicing as a health coach, but I want to do the certification. I want to learn as much as possible, and it all pretty much manifested because of the life I've been living for the past 40-something years. So, hi, Marcy. How are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining. And basically, my whole idea is like I've worked in media for over 20-something years, and I grew up in a house with a dad who was diabetic, and health has always been kind of surrounding me. And going into the media, I think it was an area where I felt like I can share and have a platform, and it's something I do to this day still. But I feel like this is empowering me to blend my media background with health and holistic health, and whatever I can do to share and bring more vitality and share more about vitality and living a life of vitality, I want to do. And that's why I'm launching HIListically Speaking. Enter theme music that I haven't bought yet. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo, doodle-doo. So anyway, hi, Anne. How are you? Welcome. DJ Marco Music. Oh, is that one of my students? I told all my students about this today as well. I'm a college professor at St. John's University, and I teach digital media. So I said, hey, guys, this is a perfect opportunity for you to come on board and watch a digital interview. And they're all doing interviewing right now with one of their projects. So this is a perfect opportunity. But it's also a great opportunity to learn about health. Hi, how are you? I see so many awesome people. Ryder's Gonna Write. Ryder's Gonna Write. Oh, I know who that is. I saw you at the Women's Circle yesterday. Hi, Kristen. Kim Pettis. Hi, everyone. We're going to get started in just a minute. I want to bring in my guest just a little more. I want to share with you what we're talking about today is gut health, trusting your gut, because basically the gut is the queen of the castle, and when she is not happy, the kingdom will fall. And we've heard that before. Many of us who practice integrative nutrition know that quote all too well, and it's so true. And I can't think of a better person to join us tonight than a really wonderful friend of mine who is Joyce Rockwood. And Joyce, I don't see you on yet, so when you come in, I will tap you in and you'll join us live. I see people waving, and if you have questions, let me know as well. And I don't see Joyce yet, so we'll see where she is. Let's see. Give me a second, guys. There's a couple of you watching. She is actually going to be calling in from LA. She used to live here in New York, and she lives in LA. There she is. So Joyce is a detox expert. She's also a certified colon hydrotherapist. She works with doTERRA with the essential oils. She is just a wealth of information, and I've known her for a number of years. I'm going to actually invite her in so she can just join us and take the floor on this with Holistically Speaking. And I just want to say how excited I am to do this with all of you today. I'm really excited, like big time. So I have one guest who's Joyce.
Ah, there she is.
And I might have another guest because I do have a cat, and she doesn't like when she's not being given proper attention. But Joyce, you just joined us, and you might have heard me talking a little bit about my journey, which is basically, I've worked in media for so long, and I want to use it as an outlet to share health and how to live a life of vitality. You were a big part of that for me. Living with a dad who was diabetic is one thing. Growing up, battling weight issues as a kid was another thing. And then also, daily burn for me, and we're going to have some daily burn folks coming on as well that know about it. That was a big decision for me because it's a community environment. And I think we live in a community and we need to share. And you and I met in that kind of way as well. We met through friends, mutual friends, family friends, really. And,
yes.
And it was like instant, like we were like soul sisters like that, right? Like that.
Kinetic.
Totally.
Kinetic and genetic.
Absolutely. I mean, I was telling you all my health problems from like day one. You're like, girl, you're sharing TMI. but you weren't like TMI. You're like,
Never.
Tell me your troubles. So you're part of the reason why I'm taking this journey into holistic health and becoming a health coach, because I want to share. And I think you are just such a wealth of information that I want to give you the floor so that you can share more about your journey and what got you here as well.
I definitely will. And part of my journey dates back to how we actually met, right? So
Yeah.
for those who know me a little bit, they know that I was in advertising and I was an artist's rep for almost a decade with this amazing man who's also a wealth of health information named David Goldman.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was working with David. He was representing an amazing group of illustrators and talent, and some of the talent was beyond illustration. One of them is David Russo, your brother.
I know that name.
You know that name. And I mean, your brother is a creator and a visionary. I mean, he's created TV shows. He's way beyond just the palette, but his artwork is phantasmagorical. So you can look him up on Instagram. But
yes.
The point is that I learned about colon hydrotherapy when I was in my early 20s because of my boss, because of David Goldman. And he had been getting colonics and been telling me to go. And I was like, are you cray? I live at home. I don't know how to explain this to my parents. This is not a doctor. It's just some guy in an apartment. And like, what? And after a few treatments, he just kept gently prodding me. And I finally said, you know what? I may as well check this out. It's a new year. What else do I got to lose? Mm-hmm. And when I had that first colonic, the lights went on for me. I mean, this man, Gil Jacobs, who eventually became my mentor and my business partner, was the man who had all of the answers for the questions I had that never really had the right answers. Mm-hmm. And he also was really exemplifying the lifestyle. He had skin like no other person I've ever met in my life. And I thought, well, whatever this man says, if that's the way his skin looks, I'm going to follow it and see what kind of results I get. And
totally.
The story can get longer, but we'll try and sum it up in that, you know, I eventually left that career because I was so moved by the changes I experienced with my own health, with colon hydrotherapy and all of the tools that Gil shared, which were about food combining and juicing and all of that stuff, sauna and sweating and all that, that I felt so obligated to share this information with other people because I had a childhood that was loaded with ear, nose, and throat infections, chronic skin issues, like literally hospitalized at one point because the hives were so crazy. Watching my father suffer with manic depression for decades, going through over 30 shock therapy treatments. Hillary, most people go through like 7, max.
I can't even imagine.
And, you know, I'll never forget the day when my mom came up to my brother and I and said, you know, Daddy's had a medical treatment. I mean, we were like preteens, and he's okay, but he might not remember you. So that moment was a marker. And I just thought, you know, I always made a really strong connection between what I ate and how I felt, even at that young age. I was like 12, 13, 14. And I just decided I was going to do whatever I could possibly do to seal my health because my dad was suffering. My grandmother was diabetic. My grandfather died of a heart attack. All of my aunts and uncles were on medication. I mean, everyone was like dealing with all these illnesses. And I just like, this doesn't look like a way to live. So I left that job. I went into colon hydrotherapy for many years and still do the work. And my life has forever changed because I decided that this was something that everyone needed to know about.
Absolutely.
And I'm so passionate about health that it just seemed like the right thing to do. And my father's always also been a really leading example for following your passion and being able to earn a living doing what you love. So that always made sense to me, and I always had their support.
Yeah, it's amazing what we learn from our environment. You know, there's what we learn from when we're still in the womb, how our family's environment is, and then there's what we learn and what we create for our life afterwards. I mean, that's really up to us. So I think, you know, being able to choose the life that we want to live, even if what we had earlier was not as positive or had negative impact and whatnot, it doesn't mean we have to stay there. And I get that with a father with diabetes. My dad died of a heart attack, you know, my own health issues, and being able to see that we can change that is really important. And of course, it all begins right in the gut, right? The gut is everything. And you know so much about that. So I would love to give you the floor on that. Why does the gut matter so much?
Yeah, it's so powerful. I mean, there's even that expression, right? Trust your gut.
Right.
Gut instinct. It tells you something. We don't even like we say that we grow up saying these things. We don't even know where it comes from.
Hmm.
But the truth is that the gut, as you know, as a certified health coach, the gut is where 95% of our serotonin is produced. It's
Hmm.
where 70% of our immune system resides. And, the truth of the matter is that serotonin is like this brain hormone that everyone thinks is being, produced in the brain. But the truth is it's actually manufactured and managed by the gut. And that's a pretty powerful thing when your diet is in disarray and you can start to
Yeah.
see like, okay, well, what does serotonin do? First of all, it's a really dynamic neurotransmitter. So it manages your mood. It manages your hormones. It manages your sex function. Okay, we just got someone's attention.
When I
We just
posted it on
got somebody's
Facebook, I was like, suddenly people are, they're tuning
attention.
in.
Here we go. It manages your food cravings.
Hmm.
It manages your sleep. And it manages your body temperature, right? So now you talk about people who are not eating well and then they're getting into foul moods. It's like, well, if this one hormone actually balances all of those things and it's manufactured in the gut, maybe we should pay attention to what's going on there and how do we manage, how do we support this hormone? So we'll talk about that in a moment. I also want to mention that our immune system is one cell layer away, one cell layer thick or thin away from the gut. And 70% of your immune system resides in your gut. So we also start to talk about this thing called the microbiome when we start talking about the gut.
Yep.
And look, I've been doing this work for over 20 years. No one talked about microbiome. Only in like the last bunch of years, like the last 10 years really, has science been able to figure out what this thing is, because they now have the research tools to figure it out, whereas they didn't before. So anyone listening, if you suffer with anxiety, depression, gas, bloating, if you feel like you're the type of person who is either like your food is off the charts and you're not eating well, then obviously we know we're going to have some issues. But if you're the type of person who feels like you're really mindful of what you're eating, but you're not getting the results that you should be getting, that's where I started too. And so I totally empathize. We're going to talk about that. We're going to do some Q&A at the end. So you can actually start popping in some questions here if you have any questions, and we'll just go through the scroll and we'll see, how we can serve you. But the truth is that your so I lost my train of thought. So the serotonin is what manages your mood, your hormones, your body temperature, your food cravings, your sleep, all of these things, your brain function, and your immune system is right there too. And so it's really important that we figure out a way in order to reestablish and resuscitate the serotonin levels in your body. And your microbiome is this incredible community made up of bacteria, yeast, fungus, and single-cell organisms called archaea, which basically orchestrate all of the functions of your entire body. And it is fed, the microbiome is fed, as Dr. B, the Gut Health MD, says, by the diversity of plants on your plate or at the end of your fork. And so a plant-based diet through scientific research, I mean, the China study is just one example. Dr. Greger is someone I interviewed on my Plant-Based Champion Summit. I mean, the plant-based diet is the way to basically reverse any disease for the most part. 90% of disease can be reversed with a plant-based diet. 90% of diseases that most people get can be prevented with a plant-based diet. So again, we might want to look in that area for like, how are we serving ourselves? And 70% of Americans suffer from gut disorder and gut disease.
Yeah.
So that's why we talk about the gut, because it's such a gold mine for shifting all of the aspects of your health through the diet.
And I think when you say that 70% suffer, it doesn't mean it might be long-term or chronic. It could be an isolated situation. It could be, you have one thing for dinner that doesn't sit well with you, and your gut knows, right?
Yeah.
And you sometimes, your intuition gut knows as well. I'm one, I use this all the time. I say, especially with women, our intuition's like a Doppler radar. I mean, it is. We know what's right and wrong, and a lot of times sometimes when we go against it, we're like, yeah, kind of knew.
Yes.
It's the same with what we put in our body. It's the same as the digestive system, that gut too. That gut, we know what's going to sit right and what's going to sit wrong. It's not like it's just kind of magical and, gut fairies. There is something in there that's saying this is not sitting right. And there are things that we can eat and put in our bodies and, nourish our bodies, feed our soul, that are going to make our life much better living, right?
Yeah,
so,
the gut is basically like your emotional ecosystem.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. I love that. Emotional ecosystem. I'm writing that down, stealing your lines. Hey, it's all about sharing. It's sharing, right? It's a fempire we're building here.
Empire.
I love it, right? I got that one from my sister-in-law. I can't steal that. That's probably came from somewhere else. But on that note, you're talking about the microbiome. You're talking about how important the gut is. What about for those people that might be out there, and we do have more people that are joining, those people who are not vegetarian, because a lot of times people think, and you're a vegetarian, you're vegan actually, correct?
Yeah,
you eat more.
Mainly a raw food diet, and I've been vegan for like 22 years.
But you don't have to be. So I want to stress that we're not just sending this message out to those that, I just eat vegetables and I only eat raw. You still can take care of your gut and your gut health and eat meat or eat primal or all the different dietary theories that are out there. I want to stress that it's bio-individuality. There are so many different ways to eat, and it just really depends on what's right for you. You're going to know what's better for your body, right? So you don't have to be vegan to live a powerful life. Just eat the way your body allows you to eat, that you feel good. Your gut knows. So, right.
And when you work with a health coach, like Hillary is a health coach, I'm a health coach. When you work with a health coach, they can guide you properly. We can guide you properly if there's places you want to go beyond where you're at. So yeah, a lot of my clients are, eat meat, and that's totally fine. I'm not here to be dogmatic, but if they're looking to transition, there's a smart way to go about doing that, because your body has accumulated poisons for a number of years and decades. And so winding that history is something that has to be done with a sensibility, a gut instinct, and with science. There's science about that. And I can liken that to anyone listening. Has anyone listening here ever dealt with any addiction, whether it's cigarettes or alcohol, cocaine, painkillers? We don't stop those things in a day because it could be detrimental. There's a reason why there are rehab centers, right? And so when we wean off of a poison, we wean off. That's a gradual phasing out. A Coke addict who's been doing Coke for 12 years doesn't stop doing Coke in a day, because he could literally force a heart attack. Because what happens in the absence of the poisons coming into the bloodstream is the bloodstream is now going to be pulverized with the poisons that have been clustered in the cells. And all of that coming out in a dead rush can be very toxic and very dangerous.
And it also, another thing is people can get overwhelmed as well. And I think that's why we see so many things like 21-day plans, 21-day diets, 21-day detoxes, because it takes the body and the mind, that 3-week period to kind of condition a new behavior to start. A lot of programs, like you have a new program that we're going to discuss as well. 6-month programs are really good to get you on that real path to success, right? I offer a 6-month program with my health coaching. You have a 6-month program. It really is how you can build and change your life for the better, right? But the 21-day is kind of like getting you in this new pattern, right?
Yeah, it's like a little bit of mindset, of mindset shifting.
Definitely. So one thing, when we're talking about the different dietary theories, no matter what you're doing, what's right for you, what's the importance of food combining?
Yeah, so this was the most powerful tool, Hillary. When I first got started with this, and I met Gil Jacobs years ago, I was 23, and I was eating, tofu and tempeh and soy dogs and soy cheese and bacon and all of that stuff, and beans, and I just didn't know how to properly combine the food. And when I met him, I was always frustrated, because I was like, I feel like I'm eating so healthy, but I'm kind of puffed up. I don't really feel like I've lost the kind of weight I should have lost. I feel like I'm not really radiating the kind of skin quality I should have. And so he was like, Kate, we're going to clean up the diet, and we're going to talk about food combining. I had no idea what that was. Very simply, for anyone listening who's new to this, food combining is a very simple and practical, efficient way to properly pair your foods to optimize your digestion. And I'll say this, every food group has a different transit time. When I interviewed Dr. Greger, he doesn't believe in this at all, by the way. We had so much fun. And I'm like, yeah, fruit moves out of your stomach faster than steak. How can you deny that? You're telling people that a plant-based diet is the diet that saves people's lives, and you're denying food transiting out of the stomach is like non-existent. We don't always agree. But the point is that every food group has a different transit time out of the stomach, okay? So for those listening, a lot of the people that come to me feel like they should eat fruit after dinner or lunch because it's a healthy snack. That's the biggest mistake you can make, right? You think it's a healthy food, but it's a very fast-moving food. And on top of slow-moving food, it literally creates human beer. It will ferment and create gas and bloating. And so if you eat what you think is healthy on top of something that was not, and then you feel the repercussions and the ripple effect of like bloat, gas, headache, sleepiness, skin is like not radiating well, it's because the order just needs to be flipped. So just to dive a little bit deeper into that, fruit is a fast transit food. It's the healthiest, most alkaline food on the planet. Juice comes before that, right? Veggie juices are even cleaner because there's no fiber and they just move through the system. Liquid life force energy, cleansing, and basically invigorating the body. And then you've got salad, raw vegetables, and then cooked vegetables would be next. Starches like quinoa, kasha, millet, stuff like that, yams, sweet potatoes. And then you would have animal protein. So like chicken, cheese, turkey, steak, shrimp is the slowest moving food. And so food combining is literally a transformer for people's dynamic health, because once they start putting the foods in the body in a proper combination, their digestion goes way through the roof, their bowels increase, their skin becomes much clearer, their mental focus and clarity, their energy goes way up, sleep improves. This is how we feed the microbiome. Our moods change, we're losing weight, and weight loss is waste loss, so we're cleansing the body. Respiratory health, cardiovascular health, because we're literally shifting the pressure in the body by reducing the obstruction. That's another guy that I love, Professor Arnold Ehret is one of the men who is like the godfathers of cleansing. So he had this whole concept that vitality equals pressure minus obstruction. So all of the work that I do with my clients is based on raising vitality by lowering obstruction and lowering pressure in the body.
Yeah, because we all know what that feels like, especially, like a perfect time to be talking about this. We're about to embark on the holiday season, and we know what happens to people after they're eating at the table. And, that's a great area for us to touch on briefly. The food combining that happens at the Thanksgiving table is like, it's like putting every single kind of sport on the same field. Honestly, and just letting them go. Yeah. Right? Like, just figure it out. But that's a great analogy. So
now I'm going to borrow that from you.
Yeah, take it. It's yours. Totally. But I mean, how do we get through something like the holidays? I mean, and we don't want to deny people the happiness of enjoying good food. You love your pumpkin pie, you love your turkey, you love your gravy, fine. But there are ways that you can do it effectively and still not feel like you're one of the sport teams on the field, right?
Absolutely. I'll say two things. First of all, people feeling like they're being denied something by eating food that makes them feel horrible after, I kind of want people to really revisit what that means. I really do. For like Dr. Wayne Dyer always had this expression, like the 1 ounce taste bud pulling you into the donut shop. And I'm like, yeah, the 1 ounce taste bud gets you to eat this stuff for like, how long do you feel okay? And then for, a day or a week thereafter, and the rest of your life, what is the trajectory that you've created? So I really want to empower people around what is a food craving and helping them and supporting them in that they have power over this. So the first thing I'll say is that raw food before cooked food will change the course of your digestion and your elimination, create amazing bowel activity, and really shift your palate. So a lot of times people are eating foods that are very processed and dehydrated. And what happens is during the meal, they feel the need to drink excessively, whether it's water or anything else. Drinking while eating is one of the fastest routes to creating gas and bloating and either diarrhea or constipation or both, because they're kind of the same thing. And so one of the tips that I give in my health coaching is eating some salad or some raw foods before the cooked foods. And I'm going to tell you there are exceptions to that for some people, because I work with some people who've had like literally 40 years of IBS or Crohn's, and eating raw food is a non-option for them. So I'll dive into what their options are in a second. But if you're not one of those people, what you want to do is the raw food, like Hillary said, don't put all the sports and all the athletes on the field at the same time. The salad before the cooked food is your way of, I don't want to call it technically a bulletproof vest, because that makes people think they can eat anything. But it really is a way to elevate your body's ability to detoxify in general and to pass the cooked food that's going to come after, because it moves slower through the body. So think about your salads like a magnetic Swiffer, and it's got bristles. And as the salad goes through the intestine, it's actually not only leaving easily and readily because it is a high vibrational food and it creates motion, but it also attracts stuff, toxicity to it, because it has a certain ionic charge. The ionic charge is negative, and so is our body's ionic charge negative. The food that we've eaten that doesn't belong in the human body, that makes us feel ill, has a positive ionic charge. That could be fried chicken, Doritos, Chips Ahoy, Devil Dogs, whatever it is. Pirate booty is not healthy food, even though it's found in a health food store. That stuff locks in the tissue because it has an opposite charge. Does that make sense? We've got the body with one charge and the unhealthy food with the opposite charge, so opposites attract. When that salad moves through the intestine, it's attracting and pulling and detoxifying the body by drawing out poisons. That's why when people eat healthier food, they have more epic poops. That's why when people eat healthier food, they feel more energized.
I was wondering when we were going to talk about poop.
Doesn't take me long. Because it's literally pulling out waste from the body. It's elevating your higher vibration as a human on the planet. When your vibration is higher, you attract a totally different energy. You attract more positive people. You attract, as you say, your tribe, right? You
let your vibe attract your tribe, right?
Right. You attract the people that want what you have. And so you start to create this incredible shift in your life just because you started eating more salads.
But does that include fermented as well? That includes fermented as well.
So we're talking about like sauerkraut, naturally fermented foods that don't have sugar, that are found in the refrigerated section, is one of the most.
Yes, or that we make ourselves, which is so easy to do.
Ways to enhance and support the microbiome. You can make it yourself. Yes. My buddy Mike Perrine of Vitality NYC has an ebook as well on this, and a bit if anyone's listening. I should probably pop it back into my link tree. It's not there right now, but I can do comments on the bottom of this feed, and we'll go from there. So for people who have IBS, Crohn's, irritable bowel syndrome, ulcerative colitis, a lot of times those conditions, if they're not minor and they're pretty major, and I deal with, I get to coach a lot of people who are dealing with the major part, eating raw food is way too cleansing for them, and they can actually be rushed further to the bathroom than they already are going. So for those people, we start out slow. We might not be doing any juices in the beginning. We might not be doing any raw food. Or if we do the raw food blended with avocado, because avocado is a fat.
Yes. And
it will slow down the digestion a bit. We can also use something called guar gum in the vegetable juices, and do the vegetable juices in small doses instead of like 16 ounces. We might start with 4 or 6 or 8 ounces, because the higher cleansing foods in a body that's already very, diseased or backed up, and sometimes be too aggressive, right? I liken it to going to a psychotherapist and you've dealt with like very big traumas in your life. They're probably not going to deal with the biggest trauma in the first appointment. Right?
You actually introduced me to one of my favorite breakfasts, which is apples and avocado. I would have never thought of putting the two together, and I have it on my Instagram in my Healthy Eats, a beautiful plate of both. And it helps me because I have a very sensitive stomach. So a little avocado, a little bit of apple, and some cinnamon, and it's like, where did these two should get married? I will officiate. I'm not even ordained. I don't care. What's that?
Yeah, in the face of adversity, there's always options, right?
Yes.
So that's part of the beauty of working with a coach, is that they have some insights to support you when you're hitting a wall and you don't know what to do, and you feel like I'm doing what I think is right, but I'm not getting the right results. You know, I was working with a woman as well in the Canada area who was getting massive headaches when she would have her juice. But she wanted to push through it. And I was like, we can't have you dealing with these headaches daily because you've got to work and you've got to service your clients.
Yeah.
She wanted to stick with it. And I was like, we're sticking with it in this case is actually not the right thing to do. Let's back off a little so we can take 2 steps forward. Right now, you're trying to take 1 step forward and you're going 3 steps back.
Yeah.
How good is that?
Right. So we're at the 30-minute mark. We could talk forever,
Wow.
right, girlfriend?
Incredible.
We totally can. And I want to make sure we cover a couple things. When we're starting to get questions, and I see one of them about fermented foods going back to eating raw. And we'll answer that in just a second. Thank you for joining us. I think we just kind of connected too on Instagram. So I'm happy to have new friends. So we'll get to that in a second with the questions. But I want to touch on one of the things I did recently with you, which was your Shed Your Shit program. Yes. I love it.
The two pretty girls saying that.
I know.
So much fun.
We're not talking dirty talk. We're talking factual here. So I did your 5-day cleanse, and it was unbelievable. And you're going to introduce your program that you're launching very soon. Yes, in a minute. And it
not
launched.
Too late to join.
Yeah, not too late to join. But the 5-day program was really a great way. And like we were talking about this a second ago, that, you know, sometimes it just takes the 21 days to start a new habit and then really parlay into maybe 6 months. And then it becomes a lifestyle, not a diet. I hate using that word. You know, it's a lifestyle change. It's a theory that you're investing into. It's your vitality. It's your life. Right. So the program that you had was 5 days of really proper food combining, which even for me was a little challenging, you know. And you're right, you think you're eating healthy on things, and sometimes you can be eating healthy foods, but just not, they shouldn't be together. Too many sports on the field, right?
Yes.
So
and this sweet woman, is it a woman? Well, VYL, I don't know how to say her handle. Well, VYL.
Well living, I think. Happy to connect. Great. Loving the conversation. So glad you're here. So glad everybody's here. Thank you so much for being patient and getting involved with this and being part of the first Holistically Speaking. We are going to answer questions, and we're
You want to do her
really
fermented food question?
Yes, please just answer that now. We'll get that out of the way and answer your question, and we'll move on.
Absolutely.
Let us know who you are too. Share your name if you'd like.
Yes, please post it in there. So naturally fermented foods are the ones that you're going to either make at home or buy. If you're buying them, you want to go to the refrigerated section and you want to look at the label. Look at the label of everything you buy, by the way. And it should not have sugar in it. It should only have the vegetable and like the sea salt. And that's it, right? No vinegar, no sugar. And naturally fermented vegetables are a way to get the probiotics into the gut to serve and basically feed and nourish the serotonin in the gut and just really love up the microbiome. So they make burdock, carrots, sauerkraut, which is from cabbage, beets you can get that way. I think you can even get string beans that way. And depending on where you live, pickles, yes. Depending on where you live, sometimes there's a lot of local farmers who do natural fermented foods. But yes, you can totally do it on your own at home. Yeah. And like I said, I'll pop a link into my link tree probably by tomorrow, if not tonight when we're off, so that you can get my buddy Mike Perrine's free ebook. He's awesome. Yeah,
that's great. I mean, and making your own is great. I mean, eating at home, a lot of us might not have time or be able to invest the time to make something that's fermented. But the funny thing is, you don't need to sit and wait for it because it's doing its thing while you're at work or you're sleeping. It's fermenting while you're doing your own thing. It takes no time to put the water in the jar, the salt, whatever you're wanting to ferment, let it sit for however many days, so however fermented you want it to be, and voila, you've got it. And it's such an inexpensive way. Plus using local vegetables, things that are from the local area, organic, hopefully, you know, and just making better choices for your health, right?
It's the least expensive probiotic in the world, and it will last for maybe even months. But you'll probably make enough so you'll eat it in shorter time than that. But yeah.
And I also want to touch on briefly probiotics, period. Now, I actually got some probiotics from you recently, and a while ago you actually shared with me what I should get when I was having some health issues a couple of years ago, I remember. So
Yes.
I remember buying those in pill form, in capsules rather. And the one that I have now is the liquid. Is there really a difference? It's, what is it? Mary Ruth's Daily Liquid Probiotic.
Yes,
Look at
Mary
that.
Ruth.
I like
My dear
this.
friend. She's been a client of mine since New York, and
Yeah.
then husband and mom moved here to LA, and we've kept up the connection. It's beautiful. She has an amazing company, Mary Ruth Organics. You can find her on Amazon if you want to know more about her stuff. She's got really high quality stuff. And I work with doTERRA, so we work with a capsule pre and probiotic in one, which is really unique. And she does have a vegan liquid probiotic, which is also awesome. And I tell people to experiment. See what you like. Maybe try one thing for a few months and then change into another and come back. It's like, why not? The world is our oyster. There's always more than one fish in the sea. So why not more than one probiotic in the pool room?
Yeah, and I actually keep this in my kitchen, like right by my tea. So I know now, like since you gave this to me, thank you. And thank you, Mary Ruth. I'm actually going to do probiotics for my Kitchen Cabinet Confidential this week. So that will come out on Wednesday, and you'll learn a little bit more about probiotics and why they should be in your pantry. But I like the liquid better because I'm the worst when it comes to taking anything, like popping any pills, right? You know, like anything. And I don't mean just like, medicine. I mean, in general, it's hard for me to remember. I just don't do the pill thing or the tablets. So this, I just drop it in my tea or water, and I'm good to go. You know. Yeah.
Wellville says, okay, so it's pronounced Wellville. I love that. She's based in New York City, where you are, Hillary.
Well, hello there. I'm Hillary from New York City. How are you?
I'm originally from New York, so we're all really connected.
We are, yes.
Cheryl is all psyched about pickles. Cheryl is Nature Craft. She's a client.
I love pickles. I make my own kosher half sours, and it's like they should be in delis. Personally, I should sell them.
Yeah, Bubby's is a good brand for pickles.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Now, Bubby's, you want to buy her whole pickles. Bubby's does some sliced stuff, and there's some weird ingredients going on in those. And but buy the Bubby's ones, and any pickles that do not have vinegar in there, you're good.
Yes, just water and salt.
Hassan, good to see you, Hassan.
Yeah. I'm seeing I see a familiar face from the Shed Your Shape program.
Yeah, that's Hassan.
I see Al on there.
Yeah, that's Hassan.
Yes, Hassan. So we have a lot of people. I have some students that have joined us. I have some personal friends on here, some Daily Burn folks. Oh, this is great. I see your mom, Jenny. So many amazing people joining us. Thank you so much. I mean, people that are new friends, hopefully new friends after this, people that have been part of our lives. Again, let your vibe attract your tribe, right? We're talking about holistic health here. This is Holistically Speaking with Hillary, and I am so happy to have Joyce Rockwood here. She's a very dear friend of mine and my soul sister, but also just a wealth of information when it comes to detoxing the body and being a certified colon hydrotherapist. I always want to say hydrocolon therapist. I'm like, is that a different
You're not the only
job?
One. It gets flipped around all the time.
Just say, what is it, CCH, right?
Yeah.
Right? And then you work with doTERRA as well, which I've learned a lot about essential oils from you as well. So I would love, do you want to share anything else? You want to share a little bit about your program first, or shall we take some questions first?
Sure. Well, if anyone has any questions, feel free to pop them in the feed now, so that will let me know when I zip it up. But I am certainly happy to share that I do have a 6-month group coaching program happening right now as we speak, and it is totally prime for anyone listening who is looking to have a huge change in their life and is really looking for the proper support to figure out all the steps along the way of what detox looks like. Juicing, how to do it properly, food combining, what to do when you come up with like sinus stuff. You know, someone in my group the other day was like, I didn't realize I could talk to you about my sinus congestion. I was like, yeah, because guess what? There's an oil for that. So with essential oils, my practice has become so much more dynamic because I can help people with sinus, congestion, sleep, skin issues, any kind of medical condition that you might not even think is related to the gut. I mean, literally, I've got my whole litany of oils right here. And no matter what
just a couple oils there, Joyce. Just a couple oils. Holy moly. What if you blend everything together like boil, toil and trouble, you know, like a witch? What if you put everything together? What would happen?
Well, I don't know if we want to move all of those together. That's a lot of chemical constituents in one. But doTERRA does do a lot of blends.
That's the kind of scientist I am. I'd be
Yeah.
like, woo.
Well, you can. You can.
I
make
guess
your
you
own
can.
I make my own. This is my ylang ylang and blue tansy with wild orange. So the beauty of working with essential oils is that they're a very diverse modality, and you can work with emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical conditions all at once.
Yeah.
And they're a way of reprogramming our bodies and detoxifying our bodies on a cellular level. And we're working with the brain, which is the only organ that's literally exposed to the outside environment. So for people who are dealing with anxiety and stress, one of my favorite things to do is have them inhale an oil, because we can elicit a neural response in like 20 seconds, which is a powerful
definitely.
for people who are suffering.
It's a great way to start. Like before this conversation, I had my diffuser on. I did a couple oils. I even encourage my students. We talk about anxiety and trying to de-stress from stage fright or being on camera. Sometimes essential oils just get you, it's breathing. It's getting a calming sensation. And with my clients as well, when they're in your environment, you want to have a very calming environment. And the essential oils are such a great way to put you there. It's also safer than candles.
Yeah.
I can get into a whole area about that as well.
The toxic part of what an essential oil is. We don't want to burn them. That renders them toxic. I didn't know for years. But we have the good graces with doTERRA of working with the most tested and the most trusted essential oils in the world. And they are now being studied by Johns Hopkins University, Duke University, and really highly regarded universities and hospitals like that around the world. They're actually about to disrupt healthcare. They're opening up clinics around the world so that people now have an option when they go in for medical care, and they don't just get a 7-minute checkup. They're going to get a 30 to a 60-minute checkup. And so they are literally going to revolutionize our healthcare in the next 5 to 20 years. You're going to start seeing that happening. So I will just say in closing, because I know we want to wrap up, if anyone wants to, buzzmati.com, what's up?
And there's Bernie again. There's Bernie.
Hey, Bernie.
Bernie's back.
So, Bernie, your question yesterday was about dealing with time and time zone changes, and I think also whether you're flying and dealing with jet lag, or it's just the clock is turning back, or maybe going forward. One of the oils I work with my clients is the balance oil, which is a grounding blend. And the reason it works so well is because it has frankincense in it, which is really wonderful and nourishing to the brain. It does have a number of other tree oils in it with some blue tansy and blue chamomile. So that's one of the oils we could work with.
You actually sent me a sample of that last year, and I loved it. Oh, it's so good. The frankincense and just, frankincense, lavender. I mean, there's certain ones that they appeal to you. It's almost like the gut or bioindividuality. Certain things appeal to us,
Yeah.
Anything to help me sleep better, really, better night's sleep. Bernie, so great to have you. Everybody, I see a number of people joining in Pearson Studios. Oh, how do we got some people coming out of the woodwork that I haven't talked to in a while. I love that.
Where's Jimmy 24? What's happening?
And Nature's Craft, I think she had said before that she loves making pickles. That's great. Does anyone have questions? Let's open the floor to some questions now. We talked about holiday health, how to get through that. We talked about a little bit about the Shed Your Shit program, and you're going to be talking a little bit. You mentioned about the Shed More Shit, or Shed Your Shit 2.0. I just like to say the word and know that it's okay. I'm sure my students are like, Professor, you're dropping the S-bomb. I'm like, whatever. We talked about that you don't have to be a vegetarian to listen to your gut. This is all about bioindividuality. It's about what feels right for you. And having you here, Joyce, has been so great, because really the gut matters. And like I said before you joined us, Jennifer Esposito, who's a well-known actress, once said that the gut is the queen of the castle. And when she is not happy, the kingdom will fall. And it couldn't be truer words, because, and she suffers from a lot of gut issues and digestive health. So, and she's a real advocate for it as well. So hearing that, it really makes you think, why are we fighting it? Why are we fighting against what we know is right? So if anyone has questions, the floor is open now. We have a couple more minutes before we have to go, because we actually have an hour time limit on Instagram Live. Or we can talk forever, right, Joyce? I mean, we can talk forever. Let me
just say this, because I don't see a lot of, someone says, what do you think about probiotics? So we did a whole piece on probiotics, Bernie. Already,
yeah, you came in a little late there, Bernster.
That's okay. Let me say this.
That's all right.
That we didn't say yet. So I'm going to feed you, Bernie, with some information, but you can also go back and watch the earlier part of the feed to hear what we said previously. I will
And
say
I'll be
this.
sharing that on the Kitchen Cabinet Confidential on Wednesday as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And probiotics, you know, you can get through the foods that you eat. Okay. So the best way is through naturally fermented vegetables, which we do without any sugar or any vinegar. And if you do feel the need to take an over-the-counter type of probiotic, I can support you with that. So you can reach out to me and just go to my Instagram feed and you can DM me. You can also get on, if you want to get on my newsletter, you go right to my link tree on my Instagram under on my bio, and you'll see like being able to get the top 10 gut loving tips. You'll be right onto my secret list. So for probiotics, I will say this. If you are someone who has serious bowel issues, like you're having one a day and that's it, by the way, a normal bowel should be a bowel movement for every meal you eat plus another 1 or 2 bowel movements in a day. That's a healthy bowel. Now, when I tell that to people, most people fall off their rocker and they think I'm crazy. But the truth is, an infant takes in human mother's milk, or God forbid formula. Some have to do that. And that infant is having maybe 4 to 8 movements in a day, and they're taking in liquid. So what I want you to also understand is that 60% of your bowel movement is basically like bio waste. It's not even the food you eat, right? So there is a lot of, you know, waste that comes from the production of things moving in the body. And that's why when infants have bowel movements like that, it's because, yeah, they're growing too, but a lot of it is just what's going on and feeding off of the bioenergetics of the body. So if you are someone who's taken a lot of antibiotics in your life and your bowel is defunct and not working well, if you are someone who's dealing with gas and bloating all the time, you definitely should be taking a probiotic at least for like 1 to 2 or 3 months and start to rehabilitate. But in tandem with that, I will encourage you to start doing vegetable juices on the daily, because that's one of the best ways to rehabilitate the microbiome. And to
making your own, can you cold press, making your own if you don't have a juicer?
If you don't have a juicer, you can buy them. You might go into the poorhouse doing that, but to each their own, right? I feel that the best investment I can make in my health is spending 8 minutes of my day making a juice and cleaning my juicer. It literally takes me 8 minutes from start to finish. Yeah. And I've never looked at taking care of myself as a burden. And I would
absolutely. This is your temple. It's the only one you got, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good question, Bernie.
To fry eggs and make toast, and that's horrible, and you feel terrible after.
Right. Although for some, they might enjoy that. So, yeah, we have to remember that.
Most of those people are to the door because, you know, they're not feeling well, and they're gassy and bloated, and they've got acne at 40.
So Bernie, hopefully Joyce answered your question. I mean, probiotics are great. Obviously, the best probiotics are going to be fermented foods, real foods, but there are a number of different products out there. I was just sharing this one. This is Mary Ruth's that actually Joyce gave this to me when I was doing her program, her 5-day program. And, you know, there are so many options. You have to do what works for you. Just make sure that, you know, you're reading the ingredients of anything that you decide to purchase. And, you know, make good choices, right? Yeah. So I think, Joyce, you have a lot of information on your Instagram that will take you to your link tree on your bio. I as well, if you go to my bio, I have links for a number of different things as well. That's fine. Maybe it's that time change that he was talking about yesterday. So that, I hope we answered your question there. Are there any more questions for Joyce at this point? Are there any more questions? I don't think we missed anything. We have a lot of people on today. So some people have been coming in and out, which is pretty normal, but I think we can wrap up this call. I know you wanted to briefly, do you want to reiterate your program real quick?
Sure. So right now, Shed Your Shit is over. The 5-day challenge is over, but my mom says, what about
That's your mom. Mom fell asleep too. Barbara, where were you?
Yeah, what are you asking about? You know about
Barbara.
But maybe she means what about them? Like, what are you asking? But yeah. So anyhow, yeah. So the point is that Shed Your Shit has turned into Shed More Shit. So for those who are looking to go deeper, I have a 6-month group coaching program going on right now, which is amazing because we all get to connect as a community, and you're not alone in this, right? I just want you to know you're not alone in your suffering. I spoke to someone earlier in the week, 25 years old. First 10 years of his life, 1 bowel movement a week.
Oh my goodness.
So can you imagine the state of his body now?
Yeah.
You're not alone. You're not alone. I have people older than that, 15 years older than that in my program, been dealing with gut health issues that are serious, right? So we
Yeah.
get to take 6 months and create a really big shift. So my program right now, it's not too late to enroll. There is an amazing offer that I'm going to extend to everyone watching this feed right now because Hilary is such a dear friend. I'm doing an offer right now where you can actually get 2 months for free. So if you go to the link in my bio, what you want to click on is the complimentary, the gut loving breakthrough call, right? So we're going to have a little chat so that I can hear where you're at, hear what your vision of health is, and then tell you a little bit more about the program so we can decide if it's really the proper fit for you. Mm-hmm. And then you get to decide. Okay, so go to that link. It's the gut loving breakthrough call in the link in my bio, and then you can.
That's amazing. What an awesome opportunity, everyone. Joyce, you are so amazing to do that because, you know, as health coaches, I think it's important that we extend our offers and we share in this age as well, because I mean, our whole goal is to help people live a life of vitality, you know? Right. So just doing your program for 5 days even made a change, and doing it in a group environment as well, because I had Asan in the group as well. So that's how I came to know him. Yep. And I think it's about, you know, it really is about community and supporting each other. And that's part of the reason why I launched HIListically Speaking, so we can talk to different experts. I'm so happy Joyce is my first. You'll definitely be returning. And, you know, doing Kitchen Cabinet Confidential as well, because that's where I share on a weekly basis something that's in your pantry that should be there to help you live much more in a healthier way. So I want to, one last thing, does anyone else have any questions? I don't want to miss anyone.
My mom's question was actually more about prebiotics.
Prebiotics, okay.
Probiotics.
Do you want to answer Barbara's question?
Yeah, so funny enough, a lot of the foods that, you know, people like to eat that are a little bit more on the, like the spicy side, shall we say. Yeah. So like, you know, things like garlic and onions, those are going to be your prebiotics. Yeah. And those are going to be things that will certainly support. And I do have on my Instagram feed, I do have like a prebiotics little post. It's pretty recent, so if you don't need to go down too far. But the prebiotics are what feed the probiotics, and they are very important, which is why I work with a probiotic that has prebiotics in it. So Bernie, I know you were asking about a probiotic, so you can reach out to me and I can support you in that way. And there you have it.
Awesome. Amazing. So I am going to wrap this up, I believe. We talked about your new program coming out, tips on holiday health, how to get through it. There's so much we can talk about the gut, because the gut really does make a difference, right? Yes. So I think we'll close this call on a positive note. I think we've definitely, you know, we've been shooting the shit for a while here. I've been waiting to say that. And yeah, was that
your brother through David Goldman to us now, literally collectively working together in that field.
It's so amazing, you know. And again, check both of our bios, check the link tree. You'll see a number of really great links that will take you to places for better health. You know, I even share more about, we mentioned my brother earlier. I have links to you know, What a Great Life as well. We're both wearing Jamie Cole earrings.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, there's so much collaboration going on here, right?
Yeah, and what's really weird for those listening is Jamie Cole is our dear friend. She's the wife of David Goldman, who I used to work for, who I repped Hilary's brother. It's a whole long incestuous thing.
And everybody's family. I mean, really, it's just such a beautiful union. So, you know, whatever we can do to serve all of you and to share, and so that we live powerfully. And, you know, I guess that's a great way to end this, HIListically Speaking. And listen, if anyone has any ideas of what they would like to hear on the show, or different kinds of experts, much like Joyce, let me know. Follow me, follow Joyce on Instagram. Let us know what you think. And, you know, I will definitely do a little research and bring some other guests on to share more about living powerfully and healthy. And on that note, everybody have an amazing Monday night, and we'll see you
Shed your shit.
And shed your shit.
Do what you
Bye.
can. Bye, everyone. Thanks, Hillary.
Bye.
Really
Have a great
appreciate it.
one. Be well.
Bye.